Should minors be allowed to debut? Minors have actually been debuting in K-pop since the beginning of K-pop. In fact, there are groups that debuted an all-minor team. There's S.E.S, TVXQ, Wonder Girls. Boa was 13 when she debuted, Wonyoung was 14, and there are a lot more. Further, children working or pursuing their passion isn't new. Many athletes start training as soon as they can walk, and children could train up to 10 hours a day doing gymnastics, swimming, track, and other sports. And there are kids who start painting early or cooking. Ballerina starts as early as 4. And students study for up to 10 hours as early as grade school. So why are minors being allowed to debut as idols such a big issue? Before I proceed, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button, and I'd really appreciate it. Why are minors being allowed to debut as idols such a big issue? 2 words: sexualizing minors. It isn't really the fact that they are debuting, given that children have been pursuing their passion since time immemorial. Just as I don't mind children getting into competitive sports early in life, I also don't mind minors starting to pursue pop music early. What I mind is them being sexualized. Unfortunately, majority of K-pop acts sexualize their groups. Some more than the others, aside from making them wear clothes that show too much of their behinds or cleavage. They are given choreographies that simulate sexual movements, grinding, twerking, pumping. Worse, they are immersed in a culture where that is actually normalized. So here are some things I think should be put in place if an agency is going to debut a minor. Number 1, it should be formally legislated and monitored that when a minor debuts, not just in K-pop but in the whole of Asia or the whole of the world maybe, that their management company cannot sexualize them. Doing so should result in criminal charges. Now, the obvious question is, when is something considered sexualization? Will wearing fitting clothes constitute sexualization? Pumping their behinds, twerking, showing their cleavage, or spreading their legs wide open like the bullet train is about to pass through it be considered sexualization? I believe that when it comes to kids or children or minors, it is always better to err on the side of caution rather than take risks. I think in the context of what we're discussing, it is better to be overly protective and overly cautious rather than slightly risky. So no cleavage, no mini skirts, no pumping, no grinding, no twerking. And I know people are going to argue that those short skirts and twerkings are just normal for kids nowadays. Well, number 1, those should never be normal for kids. And number 2, putting them on TV is a whole new different issue altogether. If management companies can't deal, no minor should be allowed to be in the group. There are a lot of talented people who are at the age of majority. Let them debut instead. This thing should never be negotiated. Number 2, a psychologist should clear the debut. The minor should have sessions with a psychologist to make sure that the minor is aware of what they are getting themselves into, the things that they will sacrifice, the things that they could learn, not learn. They truly want this and that they are in the right state of mind to do it. That psychologist must be paid by the agency, but employed by a neutral third party or by the government. Number 3, it should be a part of the responsibility of the agency to get mental health help for the minor. It should actually be a part of their schedule. The psychologist must be certified by the government or a neutral third party, and sessions should be as often as the psychologist sees fit. Number 4, the minor should be allowed to opt out of a contract anytime with no legal repercussions. At any point, if the minor says, "I want out," there should be no questions asked. Let them out with no legal or financial repercussions. And the same thing is true with breaks. If the minor requests for a break from activities, they should be allowed to do so with no questions asked. Number 5, The minor's earnings should be put in a trust which they cannot touch until they reach the age of majority. Only they should be allowed to touch their earnings at the right time. This is something that's already being done in the US, and it should roll over to the rest of Asia. Number 6, leaving hate comments on a minor should be illegal. Anyone who does should be prosecuted. South Korea has a sophisticated system. They can identify anybody online. They can track any user if they want to. If anyone leaves a hate comment on a minor, that netizen should face charges. While constructive criticism is of course welcome and natural, hate comments should never be tolerated. Number 7, it should be illegal for the media companies to cover or talk about hate comments about minors. If a complaint is lodged against the minor, legally or online, it should be taken down. And if it is legal, it should not be covered and let the court deal with it. Many of these haters and netizens are doing all those hate comments just because they want attention. If the media gives them attention, they will continue doing it. Number 8, a social worker or guardian should be present in all work schedules. This is to make sure everyone complies with the laws and regulations in relation to children. The agency should pay for it without taking it out on the salary of the kid. Yes, all these things sound so strict, but we are talking about minors here. We should be strict. I believe that children should be allowed to pursue their passion as early as they want without pressuring them to get into it. I believe that as much as we allow and nurture athletes, we should also allow and nurture artists. But because they are children, we need to do our best, do everything that we can in order to provide them an environment where they will be safe and they can really nurture their craft rather than actually abuse them. It's of course, we can only do our best. We cannot provide them or promise them 100% protection, but we need to do our best in order to provide them the most secure environment and most nurturing environment we possibly can. There will always be people that are sick, no matter what we do, there will be people that will look at someone's ID picture and think of all those dirty things in their mind, and it's so sickening to think about it. But the reality is that there's nothing we can do about it. I mean, us, of course, that law enforcement can do something about it, but we can only change what we can control, and that is something that we can provide an environment that will be safe for them, where they can truly nurture their passion, their craft, rather than get abused. The company, the media, the fans, and of course the government, and even the casual fans, all of those will have to work together in order to create that environment for the children. It's whenever we need to all be conscious whenever we're watching a minor performing, that we can't treat them the same way we treat adults or measure them in the same way we're measuring adults. Of course, as I've said, constructive criticism should always be a part of it. That's part of training. That's part of growing up. That's part of maturing. But hate comments and bullying, that's an entirely different issue altogether. So yeah, children should be allowed. That's my position. Children should be allowed to pursue their passion. They can debut if they want to, but we all need only if we can all create an environment that will be nurturing and safe for them as much as we can. So that's my position. I would love to hear yours. I would love to hear your thoughts. Please don't forget to just comment. If you want to get in touch with me directly, all the social media links on your screen right now would be available. You can get in touch with me anytime. And please don't forget to hit that subscribe, like, and notification button. Thank you.